I don't know how much you've paid attention to Ohio State's list. Holy moly. Felix Ojo, arguably the best offensive tackle in the country, not named Jackson Cantwell. It's certainly he's up there. Savion Hyder, maybe the best running back in the country. Xavier Griffin, maybe the best outside linebacker in the country. Jake Krell, in my opinion, the best pure pass rusher from a technical standpoint that I've ever seen out of high school. They've got Kerry Wilder, big time player out of the state of California. It's going to be a defensive tackle coming. Like it's a who's who. How easy do you think it is after winning a title for Ohio State? Like what's the advantage of that in your opinion?
Yeah, it becomes more of a selection process than recruiting, right? I mean, it's never that simple, especially again in this day and age. But when you get all these guys on campus together, I think you can flex it to another level. Brett Coolidge is going to be there from IMG as well. So this is a real big opportunity, for Ohio State. It hasn't been the most explosive class. It's been a good start, but it hasn't been a headline grabbing group to this point. They're still looking for a QB, which is always hard after you bring in a 5-star like Tavion St. Clair. So there are holes. There are there is room for improvement for Ryan Day and company. And look, they suffered some staff turnover too. So just like we talked about with Florida State, this could be an opportunity for Ohio State to really have an opportunity to sit down with some of these guys and say, hey, this is what we envision for you going forward. But the thing about the Buckeyes is it's not just this weekend. It's going to be every single weekend in Columbus. So you pick off one or two each weekend. And again, they don't have the Clemson no visit policy, but every school would like their verbal commitments to not take additional trips. So the sooner you grab them, the sooner that you can potentially get that benefit of the doubt and have a group shut it down. Chris Henry has done so. Caden Dixon-Wyatt has done so. Two of the headlining Buckeye commitments to this point. So if more of that goes down, obviously, it's all for the positive for the defending champs. Not that recruiting has ever been an issue in Columbus or attracting talent, but I think when you have the caveat of a national title in the largest playoff field we've ever seen, at least for now, that stuff does carry weight. I mean, honestly, it could be the smallest things that carry weight, like Jeremiah Smith on the EA Sports cover for 2026. It's a no-brainer that he was invited, but he still did it. You got that Buckeye logo on every cover, front and center. That stuff matters because now you're selling that on top of everything else. Not only are we going to help you get rings, develop you for Sundays, but if it all lines up correctly, your NIL, your marketing, your branding, your exposure can be as big as possible. And as you and I well know, having known Jeremiah for years, he's the most, business first, no nonsense type of kid who doesn't, have that projectable personality that, people are going to throw cameras in front of unless his game is so dominant that it doesn't matter. And that's exactly what it has become. So Ohio State can even sell that angle, that unique angle that very few programs can. So yeah, the ball's in their court with a lot of those names on the list. And I think what's interesting about Ojo and Hyder and some of those you mentioned, even Krell, Ohio State may not be number one today for some of those guys. So curious coming out of the weekend, even if it's not a commitment, how much of the gap is closed following, 48 hours on Ohio State's dime in Columbus. So fascinating as any other visit list